Hello and welcome to the Jacob and Coffee Real Estate Podcast, where we talk about all things real estate over a great cup of coffee. I'm your host today, Jacob Schuler, and today we're going to be talking about my first 30 days as a real estate agent. If you like what you're seeing on this channel, I want to encourage you to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more things pop up. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, please subscribe there. Also subscribe on Spotify. Leave a comment, leave a 5-star review, all those good things. I would love to hear what you have to say. But today is a special episode as I kind of reflect over the last 30 days of my real estate journey. So prior to getting my real estate license, there was a span of time where I was waiting for the license to come in. And if you remember watching my first video, I talk about that whole process of how to get the license. And there was a period between sending my test results into the Arkansas Real Estate Commission and actually getting my license number issued. Well, in that time, even though you've passed the test, you're still not a legal agent. You have elected where you're going to hang your license with your broker, but if there's not a number issued to your license number, then you're not legally an agent yet. So this time was it seemed like 10 years, but it wasn't 10 years. It was just I can't remember exactly off the top of my head how long it was, but it seemed like several months. I spent that time, since my wife was able to be home with the kids. She had just transitioned from her job, been able to be home with the kids more often. I took that time to go into the office, asked my broker, said, hey, can I hang out and just be in the space? She said, absolutely. So I came over and I acted like I was an agent. I didn't transact. That'd be illegal. I just acted like I was a part of the office staff. So I hung out in common areas, didn't just loaf around. I was actually doing things on my computer, whether it was more education, because my broker allowed me to log in on, she had a portal with her username and everything where I could do company training. They have all kinds of tools and tips for people that are a part of the company. So I spent hours consuming that information. I also used this time to talk to people in the office. If they had a moment to spare, I would ask them questions, get their take on things, maybe how they built their business, and try to go ahead and write that into my business plan. Spent that first few days building my business plan. Even if it was short, I found a 1-page business plan template that I just kind of filled in, something as a starting point. I also spent this time building my social media presence and trying to get all that started up. Before, I was not a consumer of social media. I had a Facebook account and will have Instagram. That's about it. And the only reason I got it was because I wanted to keep up with my nieces and nephews across the country. And that's really all it's been, is just for keeping up with a few different people throughout life. But I'm not one of those people who I wake up and boom, just start scrolling. I'm not on it hardly at all. So for me, thinking, and I'm not a guy who enjoys that stuff. So for me, trying to change the way that I'm approaching it now from a content creation standpoint and not just a consumer, which, like I said, I've not been a consumer. It's huge. It's different for me. Now I'm thinking, okay, what have I got to do to keep stuff on Facebook to let people know that I sell real estate, to keep them updated, remain top of mind, show up on their news feed all the time, because we're in a day and age to where nobody really, I mean, you do have people who read the newspaper, but the newspaper is becoming more and more obsolete. Facebook and social media sites are the new newspaper. And so being in front of people all the time on these platforms are essential to building your business. And all kinds of companies use these platforms. So I set all of that stuff up. I also sat in common areas to listen to conversation between one another. Even though I wasn't part of the conversation, they would be talking to each other. People would be talking to each other about things that maybe they were going through in a transaction, and I kind of was able to learn a little bit about how they thought through the process and solutions to the process. So I would call the real estate commission multiple times a week, and eventually they told me, have you checked the Arkansas Real Estate Commission's roster to see if your name pops up on there? And I realized that was a really nice way of them saying, Jacob, please stop bothering us. We have better things to do with our time than to answer stupid phone calls about people wondering where their license is. So I went ahead and just started checking the Real Estate Commission's roster because it didn't invade anyone's time. And I checked it dozens of times a day. So before it came in, I was always on, just checking that roster, just looking for my name. It wouldn't be there, so I just go find other things to do, read something, and talk to people. But you know what? I think this was an important part of this whole process, because up to then I wasn't licensed yet, but I was going to the office every day. I was acting like I already was there, and working. So that was huge points in not only the broker's mind, but like everyone there who was in the office, because there's a lot of agents that aren't working. There's a lot of part-time agents as well. But those ones who are there consistently every day, who are the heavier hitters in the space, they saw that I was hungry, and they actually, because I was there before I had to be there, that I think put me in their good graces, and they really thought, hey, I can actually tell this guy something and invest a little bit in him, and it's not just going to be in one ear out the other. So I thought that was huge. That was kind of an unintended. I knew that it was the right thing to do, but that was an unintended benefit of me showing up. So finally, one day, it's a Wednesday afternoon. I'm Googling, here we go, real estate roster, and I see my name is 3:00 in the afternoon, and I jumped up and I ran to the front where my broker was, and said, hey, it's in. My license is in. And they pulled it up, and she's like, yeah, it is. All right, you're legal. And we high-fived, and I thought, now what? This business is not one where somebody comes alongside you and holds your hand and says, all right, now we're going to come over here, and you're going to do this and this and this. Although the broker does do that in a sense, they do give you guidance because they have a vested interest in your success as well. When you succeed, they succeed more. So yes, there is a little bit of interest in there is uninterest in your success, but there is no employee handbook that you've got to follow. You know, you don't open it up and say, okay, I do this. They have several different documents that you can refer to that are, checklists and stuff like that. But how you do these things and how you go about it is all different. It's not like you get a new job somewhere, a W-2 job, and they say, all right, you're going to come over here, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to come over here and do this, and it's always our policy to do this. It's not that way. There are 100 different ways to do the things that we do in this space. Now, the ultimate goal, obviously, is to get clients, to keep clients, and to, sell houses and help people buy houses. There are several different ways to do each one of these things. While it's just a simple, this is how you succeed in real estate. You get clients, and these clients are going to transact. When you put it like that, it sounds, that sounds easy, but it's more difficult than that, because there are several ways to do that. You start with your sphere of influence, is what I was always encouraged to do. And that means the people that you know around you, not physically, but, in your close circle of friends, and just kind of work out to your general friends, and then your more acquaintances, and then people you've been introduced to. You really just have to start talking to everyone that you already know, and see if there's anyone there who might be looking to buy or sell. So I was able to do that. And I went ahead and just started that. After that day, she said, all right, you're legal. I thought, okay, well, I guess I'm going to start with my sphere. So I just started telling people, hey, I'm licensed. I'm new to real estate, hungry for business. but I'm not just hungry for business. I'm hungry to help you through with all your real estate needs. It sounded a lot better when I wrote it down. I actually tried to think it out a little bit better. So just saying it off the top of my head doesn't sound as good, and maybe it was a turnoff just now, but I tried to think out a good way to show them that I added value to not just being a real estate transaction, but there was a personal touch as well, to where I really cared about how the situation is. And I really do care about people. I want people to succeed. I want people to get a good deal. I want people to get a good price on their home if I'm helping them sell. So I genuinely do care about people. So I wanted to try to convey that in my sphere. I also signed up for some lead gen services that would send referrals at a fee. And the fee is not an upfront fee. It's if this deal closes, we get a percentage of the sale, or of your commission, not the sale. And I know there are a lot of people who wouldn't do that, but for me, it was worth it because I wanted the experience. I'm not trying to mess around. I want to just hit the ground running. There's a statistic that says the typical agent takes 3 to 6 months to close their first deal. And I thought, being ambitious, I wasn't unlearned, or I didn't go in with unrealistic expectations, because I had spent the last 3 years really educating myself on this space. I know you don't really know something until you do it, but I prepared quite a bit, got a lot of information on the space, so I understood how one should think. So I was ambitious, though, and set a goal to close a deal within the first 60 days of licensure. So this being a 30-day recap, I wanted to tell people that on day 28, I got my first deal under contract. I actually just yesterday went to the inspection of this property. So we're under contract. Things are rolling. We're excited it's a first-time home buyer situation. Excited for the whole thing, and of course, I'm excited because if this all closes like it should close. Now, I do know you're not supposed to count your chickens before they hatch, but if everything closes like it should, I'm trying to play my manager role in making sure everything is rolling like it should, keep asking the right questions, making sure people are on target. But if it closes when it should, I'll be at day 63. So I will have missed it by 3 days, but hey, I'm pretty excited about it because that's better than missing it by 3 months. So first deal under contract, set to close 3 days after my 60-day period that I had originally set. I'm stoked. But I'm also not so stoked to where I have neglected anything else, because as of now, I don't have anything else under contract. That's part of the business, is to consistently keep your pipeline full, and I understand that. So finding that next deal, my mentality can't be, all right, I'm going to relish in this victory. My mentality is, thank you, Lord, for allowing me to get this. I'm moving on and keep pressing forward. I want to find out where that next deal is coming from. So this is just a recap of my first 30 days. Maybe you're an agent out there and you have a story of your first month or first 3 months, first 6 months, first year in real estate. Let me know about it. I want to hear about it. Maybe you're not an agent. And you just want to keep hearing content like this, or not even content like this, but something else involved in real estate. Let me know what you want to hear, and I want to try to address those things. Leave a comment down below about things that maybe you'd like for me to go over, and if you got a certain coffee you think I should try on the podcast. I mean, it's in the name. I like coffee a lot, so you got a certain coffee that you want me to try. Leave it in the comment. Maybe talk to the owner and say, hey, you need to send this guy a bag of coffee for his podcast, and he'll feature you. I'll feature any coffee on the podcast. You send me a bag of coffee, and I'll feature you, read your advertisement, and whatever flavor notes that are involved in the blend or in the roast, and we'll just have a good time enjoying a cup of coffee together. All right. Appreciate everyone's time, And I want to encourage you once again to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, subscribe on Google and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And until next time, make sure to live life one cup at a time.